The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party, featuring weekly discussions on political news and current affairs. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Black Tea Party on Black Hollywood Live. There's Marvin Gaye, as always. Every week we
Smooth brother, that's a smooth brother. We love him.
Picked him personally to start this show. On a very hot day in LA, my name is Romar. I am your host. You can reach me always on Twitter at Rome the Ruler, and sitting to my left, Mr. Mike Teemant.
Hey guys, how's it going?
That's it. That's all you got.
Hello. I'm still here. I'm not dead yet.
You enough, and then not too much. Just enough.
It's just a little touch of vanilla.
Right.
That's what you got right there. A little touch.
Oh man, on the far side of the table, Miss Stacey Ike.
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. And sitting to your right, special guest today.
Yeah.
Political strategist. I want to make sure I get all your titles because you got so many. CEO of Urban Game Changers. I can remember because Urban Game Changer or Changers?
Both.
Because I always wanted to say Changers because it's indicative of a mass movement.
Absolutely. We're not just in
Yeah.
California, we're nationwide.
Yeah. That threw me off when I saw it on the shirt because it didn't have the S. So I was like, oh, wait. I know it's Changers.
Both.
Yeah.
Because
But
individually we're changing, and as the team we're changers.
Okay,
Love
there
it.
we go. But we are joined by public speaker, political strategist, CEO of Urban Game Changers, Miss Shirley Husar. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing quite well. I'm so happy to be here.
Everybody's happy to have you
Yeah,
here.
definitely.
Ladies,
Definitely.
I just want to say why we're happy to have you here because this is the first time we've had. Well, it's not the first,
No, it's not the first.
but this may be one of the more outspoken conservatives we've had at this table.
I've been in this game for a long time, so
Yeah.
I'm very real and honest about what's going on in the urban communities and what we're doing and what we're not doing.
Yeah,
and
okay.
even what the party's not even contributing themselves. So
Right.
I stand on justice and the political righteousness of our country.
There you go.
The Constitution is key.
Oh, there you go. Are you one of those people that you're not one of the conservatives that believes Obama is obstructing the Constitution at every turn, or I don't know.
That's a yes.
Right.
That's what you're wondering.
Okay.
We'll get to that later. Okay.
Right, you don't just punch her in it.
Yeah.
tell
Just
me about it.
Glide
first thing
in a
I
little
wanted.
bit.
You got any shots up in here?
We could make that. We could make it happen.
Help us out. It gets a little deep.
But now, what I do want to touch on first, before we get into Urban Game Changers and your history and everything, I do want to ask you a question that came up on this show not too long ago. We were having a debate about basically just how black people vote as a minority group, and it spilled over into how minorities as a whole vote. And one of the statements that I made that I heard Stephen A. Smith allude to on his show on Mad Dog Satellite Radio, Mad Dog Channel, that black people don't make politicians serve them. That the Democratic Party takes us for granted, and therefore they're going to vote for us anyway. We don't have to worry about it.
Right,
therefore, we
right.
don't have to listen to their demands.
Right.
And on the flip side, the Republicans always go, well, they're not going to vote for us anyway.
Right.
So why should we even play to them or even promise them anything because they're not going to vote for us regardless?
Right.
What's your stance on that?
There is a failure in accountability on both parts, on the elected officials and on us who vote for them. I live in Pasadena, so we had an election Tuesday.
Okay.
And the interesting part, the precinct that I went to vote at, I got there like at the bare minimum, like 7:45, and I got there at 7:45, and I said, well, how many people have voted? They had over 2,500 people registered to vote. They only had about 45 people show up.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
it was,
Wow.
and it was just one election. It was the mayor
Yeah,
election.
the mayoral election.
And
Yeah.
now they have a runoff between two people. But the point is that that most people don't hold elected officials accountable because they don't hold themselves accountable. They don't understand why they should vote. You went right into Obama. Obama does not set the standards in your community. He doesn't run your water board, your school board. He doesn't run how the streets are fixed. He doesn't do any of that. That's your local officials. That's your city council. That's your mayors. And then we get into the state. It's the governor and the water board. So if I were to ask you, who's your senator?
Oh, which one?
Well, give me your senator. Who's your senator?
I prefer Boxer, but she's. I mean,
who's your district senator?
District senator. I can't even tell.
Who's your assemblyman? Do you know who your assemblyman is?
No.
Yeah, no, I can't even tell you.
Don't even come over here. Don't even come over here.
Comedian.
Don't even come over here. Right, it's like Angela Jolie. No,
This is exactly why I created Urban Game Changers, because we don't hold elected officials accountable. You can't even go on elected officials. You can't even talk about voting, because you don't even know why you're voting.
Yeah.
You need no one at this table can tell you.
I know why
you're
I'm voting.
elected.
I know why I'm
I
voting.
vote because I vote for bills. In fact, I hardly ever vote for any I usually do none of the
You
above.
vote for
Right.
bills, but you don't vote for the politicians. who
No,
put
That's
because
gonna
the
put the
politicians
bill-
don't matter, because I think both sides are bought up by
Well, I think
corporations.
you're
Why
wrong.
would I?
I think you're totally
You're wrong.
Let's get
I'm
a.
right because you're wrong.
They have millions of
You don't even
dollars.
know who represents you, and yet you're talking about a bill. These are the people that put the bill on the tables. These are the people who write the bills, and you don't even know how their mindset is to contrive and put the bill together. You have failed this city.
No, I have not.
Yes,
Strong.
you have.
Give me just a second to bring in the third
don't
member
vote
of the
in
panel. Coming to us live from wherever. Don will come and report from a blizzard, I believe. He could be in the middle of a shootout. He'll still be on Skype doing his thing. Mr. Don Nash joining us from parts unknown. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm a little scared to get in this conversation because it's starting off a little heated.
It did.
Hey, I just keep it real here. Southern
I
California.
love it.
West Coast
I love it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Shirley. I'm glad
great.
somebody's here to keep Michael in check because I fight with him every week.
Well, Michael,
really do.
I'm trying to help Michael understand he's failed the city because he does not
I
know
don't
who
feel any. I
You
vote
know,
my own interest in what I think I actually make a difference is the bills. I think literally no politician really makes a difference right now. That's how. Like, I shouldn't vote based off of that, is what most people would say. Most people would say, I'm not going to vote. No, I can still make a difference, and it's those bills that get passed through the state legislature where I can make a difference. And that's what I vote for. I vote none of the above.
Okay, Michael, can I say the things
Yeah.
that I agree with you?
Yeah.
Voting is important. We agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Voting for the right bills and understanding those bills are important. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
But knowing the people who put the bills together,
But I
let
learned-
me finish. I let
okay.
you finish.
Sure.
Knowing the people who put these bills together and how they're contrived and how they think and all the earmarks that go into the bills. Wouldn't the bills be better if you knew who these people were?
But I do
And
look
you had
into
a-
who they are, and this is the
you
problem.
Look. You couldn't even give me one name just now. I asked you.
Yeah,
But I have a
forget
question.
who they
Though.
are.
I have a
They're-
question though. Should we be? I think it's difficult to get to know these people. You know, like
I disagree with
my
social-
local senator is what's her name? Look,
What's
Fran
her name?
somebody.
What's her name?
You know,
Her name
and
is
she
what's
doesn't
her
really
name?
represent my
That lady.
demographic because of where I live. But I don't see her. I don't chase behind anything that she publishes or any of her, I guess, appearances, if you will. So I don't know how to get to know these people that intimately. But I do know how to read into that bill, as Michael is saying.
Right.
I
Garcetti
tend to
is
do
a
the
guy
same
can-
thing, so maybe I fail the people as well.
I agree the bills are important, but to get to know them comes from social media. My God, look at what we are on right now: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter,
It's
Instagram.
PR. It's
You
all
can-
the politicians
Yeah,
use as PR,
Don
and
said
we get a
get to-
version
right.
of them. You
Have
get
you
a
ever-
version they
no.
want you to see, which is
I
politics in
call
a
their
nutshell.
office and they know me by name. Do they know you by name?
Hell no.
Because you don't call.
No.
No.
I'm not
But
planning on
here's the
calling
thing,
them.
though. Here's the question. I think, listen, everybody has a cyberspace profile, and it's not necessarily
Right.
consistent with who they really are.
Of course.
Agreed.
You still do old school and you find out where your local officials are. They have a place in Sacramento. They have a place in the districts that you live in. And you need to go in those districts and talk to them. Talk to their staff in the districts. Talk to the staff in Sacramento. Talk about what's going on in your community. But if you're not going to hold yourself accountable, that's all I'm asking from this table.
You're
There
asking us to
needs be
memorize
some
every
self-accountability.
politician.
And go through
No,
every
I'm
single.
not. I asked you just for your local. That was the first question I asked you.
Yeah.
Give me a local leader that runs your
But
area.
Garcetti.
Shirley, isn't that a
I
full-time
can
job
name some
almost?
No,
council
it's
guys.
not.
Rosenberg.
No, not at all.
Let me ask this.
Rosenthal,
Let me
It's a
ask
sorry.
full-time job for the protection of your community. That's the full-time job.
All right.
Let me ask
That's all
this.
I'm
This whole.
That
was not on purpose.
Things just got
let
real.
me ask this, because I hear what both you guys are saying.
Yeah.
I understand what both you guys are saying. So let me see if I can meet you guys in the middle, which is what I always try to do. Do you feel that the politicians, especially you and Don, especially depending on what Don just said, do you feel like the politicians aren't in the communities enough?
No, they're not.
not.
They're absolutely not. They're overdoing. Sorry about that.
We need some paper towels.
Yeah,
by
we need
the
some
way.
paper towels, maybe. They're out there with corporations coming back to us with things that are being pre-sold to them by lobbyists because we can't get money out of politics. I'm saying Democrat and Republican, by the way. I am an independent.
Oh, yeah.
And I do run
I
on
did not
the
mention party
liberal
issues.
side.
I talked
but
about the ones who represent
yeah.
your community. And we know California, the Democrats rule this state. They
Yeah.
are the majority. They rule.
Sure, kind
the
of.
majority.
Except I don't
No,
agree. Okay, here you're right. The party lines.
I'm right. Of course I'm right.
No, you're right about that. They do technically run, but I think you put Republicans in there.
technically run. They do, because
but
we don't
yeah,
have
but you put
elected officials
Republicans
that
in
are
there.
Republicans
Wait,
in
hold
the
on.
state.
If you take Republicans and you replace them, it's not going to be any different to me. I think the exact same things happen. I think there's very little difference between the parties. So much it doesn't matter who I vote for. And until we get money out of politics, it doesn't matter. So I vote on the
fighting
things
water
I
right
actually
now.
think I can do a difference of. The only thing I
Don, what do
know
you,
I can do a
Don,
difference is.
Don, what do you think?
I mean, I'm really torn over. I mean, Shirley's actually challenging me because I'm thinking that how much more can I do? And because I think I'm pretty socially plugged in, but I don't know these people that intimately.
No.
And I tend to vote much like Mihkel. I vote over the issues, over the bills, and the things that really concern me. And I think the challenge is that I've got to be a little bit more concerned about what I'm concerned about.
Here it is. Shirley, is the onus on the citizen or is the onus on the politician?
It's on
Who
both.
should make the connection?
It's like saying which comes first, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Okay. So it starts with us because the government are the people, right? But if the people don't know who the elected officials are, how they vote, how they think, where they're at, what they're doing with your money. Look, let's talk about Rod Wright. Roger Wright was in Inglewood, senator, singer in Inglewood. And he
Yeah.
was. What happened to him? He got taken out. Why? Because he committed fraud. He didn't live within the district.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you have a special election with Isidore Hall, who ran and won. Woohoo! But now Isidore says, you know what? I think that seat's kind of tiresome right now. And now he's running for another seat.
Yeah.
Which is the
Without
Senate,
even-
without even doing the job of assembly.
Yeah.
If you're going to run for the job, do the job, doggone it. If you're going to represent us, represent us.
Yeah.
But if they look at it as hopscotch or as checkers, and that's where the GOP fails. The GOP's not in the urban community, and that's why I created Urban Game Changers.
I think. Sorry. So this has all been extremely interesting. The water to Don. To,
Yeah, we ended
So
the drought.
we get a lot going on. But
He's trying to drown me out behind it.
Right.
Sister
I loved hearing the points, and I thought your last question basically pertained to your first original question. Is it, are we as citizens taking it, or I guess, are we not putting ourselves in a situation where we can actually have a voice? Are we allowing, politicians to say, hey, they don't care about us anyway, so don't worry about it here, and then on this side, they're going to vote for us anyway, so don't worry about it here. Same thing. So, then your next question.
So do we only complain when there's something happens?
Well,
Yes.
yes,
none of you-
and that's Don. I knew I could
point,
count
Don.
on Don because him
Good
and
point,
I
Don.
we agree on that point.
That's the
very,
reality.
It is a very
Thank
big
you.
reality, and
Thank you.
like you said, you view social media as a positive thing. But let me throw the negative on it. That's exactly when we decide to uproar when we see the retweets. If it's been retweeted 95 times, it's coming to my timeline.
Right.
So that's when
Right.
we've had several conversations like that.
I
on
have
this
over
panel.
20,000 followers on Twitter and 20,000 on Instagram. These people watch me, they talk to me, they interact with me and private message me, and they all feel the same way as you feel. I'm just gonna. At least you're talking about voting for bills. Thank God for that.
I vote. I vote for
give
the.
you credit.
I vote none of the above. When I look into I do look into the politicians at the time. I forget them because I'm like,
But
great,
wouldn't
this
you
guy's
agree
bought
that
up by
some of
this
some of these
DA
bills
and
are
this.
twisted the way they're written, like yes means no and no means yes.
Oh
and
no,
so
totally, yeah.
Absolutely.
Nobody likes that either.
That's the research I have to do is to
yeah.
make sure I'm voting the right way. But the
Wow, that's-
politicians, I
But
do
I
the
think-
research
listen,
and I forget.
But I think you all that we're talking to a particular demographic of people that are actually going to get that invested in the political process, where they're going to go in and try to decode these bills and the way they're worded and the way they're presented in the media. I mean, it's overwhelming even for someone like myself.
Yeah.
So I
But,
know
you know,
that it's
they've been
overwhelming for
doing
someone
that
that
so
doesn't
long.
really care too much to
let's say this.
engage. You know what I mean?
They've been playing those trick games for us a long time, right?
I agree
Now,
with you
because of
100%
social
on
media,
that.
we are more conscious. We're
Yeah,
more
yeah,
educated with our
definitely.
self-educated through networking and through
Yeah.
online and YouTube and articles that we can read. We have to hold ourselves accountable, and that's why Urban Game Changers been placed. We're a nationwide organization. We're in Louisiana, we're in Texas, we're in Florida, and we are in California, and we're growing as well in Nevada.
Yeah, tell us more about Urban Game Changers.
Shirley,
and why
can I
you-
ask this question?
Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah,
Go
Do you
ahead.
find that we as a people, meaning people of color for the most part, do you believe that we are waiting for someone that we trust to tell us what to believe?
That's
Am
I
I,
can answer
waiting for
that.
someone? Say it again.
Do you believe that we're possibly waiting for someone to tell us what to believe? And the reason I say that is because while I hate to say it, to some degree it's true. Many of us do not take the time to read, to find out the information that pertains to our life, our community, and the things that concern us overall. We're waiting for someone that we can trust. And if that someone that we can trust steps up, and if they speak eloquent, and if they have the charm and the charisma, if they have kind of like nation, maybe we'll tend to buy into it without even necessarily engaging to find out or to test it and see whether or not it's qualitative. But as long as it captures me, I think I can believe in you.
Right,
So
right.
tell
Let me
me
let me answer his question.
should
I
believe.
believe that adults are little children.
Does that make sense?
I believe that adults are little children in grown bodies, and that doesn't matter what ethnic background you are. I think that there's certain people that are leaders, and the Bible talks about that, and there's certain people that are followers. We all want someone to lead, because when you're a leader, you have to be responsible. When you're not a leader, it's just easy to follow. They've set the path. I trust them. It's easy. But we're not in easy times right now. We're almost reverting back to the past with the 60s and the marches. And people are marching, but they have no substance of why they're marching. There's no bills
But I think
there's no
do.
bills on the table. No, hold your thought. I think I support the marches. I march.
Yeah,
Don't
fair
get it
enough.
twisted. I
Yeah.
march. But I do want to see a bill on the table. You know, this is California. If you're the majority, Mr. Democrats,
I'm not
Mr.
a Democrat.
Democrats,
Not
I'm
a
just
Democrat.
saying,
Just
Mr.
speaking in
Democrats,
general, yeah.
if they're in charge,
Yeah.
why don't they have a bill on the table that's going to help the urban communities instead of thinking,
I agree,
I'm just going to walk down
100%.
the street and then it's because of Bush. It's because
Yeah.
of Bush. I mean, if I got to hear that one
No,
more
it's
time,
not.
you've got a black president, you've got a state ran by Democrats,
That does not
and the
mean,
urban
though.
communities have failed to identify who's destroying them.
But don't you think
But
in
the
Los
thing, yeah,
Angeles? Go ahead, Stacey.
I don't want it to be like, oh, because they're Democrats running, that we as black people assume that we're taken care of. I don't think that's
No,
true.
I'm not saying that. What I'm
Okay.
saying is the elected officials that are in office right now are the majority. So that's how you get a bill passed.
Right, okay.
By the majority, right?
Okay, okay.
The Democrats in the
Democrats
majority.
can't pass
Okay.
things, so.
And they shut the bill.
Yeah, so just jumping off of what you said, I believe it's a case more of, especially in minority communities, distrust of the political system itself. I don't think it has anything to do with the politicians or the bills anymore, even though those are the things that can help, but you have to make...
Right.
You're asking people to buy into a system to make people accountable, but it's a system that they don't believe serves them in the first place.
But the system
But
does
see, I
serve
think
them.
it's wrong.
that's
I think that
stupid.
we've got to get beyond
Thank you.
looking at the political, climate as being the giant
doesn't
that we
serve
can't
us.
defeat.
It's like-
I
Yeah,
really
of course.
think
You live
it's
here.
time that we look at ourselves as people and be challenged by this opportunity to rise up and actually pay attention.
Yeah.
I think that Shirley makes a profound point when she talks about where we are now socially, that we're kind of going back in time, because we got folk out here. Look at Ferguson right now, and they are marching and they are shooting, and most of them can't articulate why they're absolutely
Right.
doing what they're
But
doing.
why is that such a big deal? Can they not be out?
Oh, it's a huge deal. It's a
I
huge deal because you feel that no one's on your side. There's no retribution on your side. If the cops can get away with shooting, killing,
No,
going
no,
to
no, no,
courts,
no, that's-
going to courts, and then after the courts say, okay, it's okay for him to get off. So now the cop gets off on killing. How do you think the average constituent who lives in those
Yeah.
cities and
Yeah.
those urban communities feel?
No, I
they feel that
totally
there's
agree with that. I totally-
nobody's on their side. And that's
No,
where
no.
justice has to come and prevail, and that's where the people have to vote for the right elected officials, the right police chief, the right judges. These same judges that continue to incarcerate our people are the people that you don't vote for, and you don't know them by name. So,
Yeah.
But Shirley, I feel like we can argue both sides of it. I accepted your challenge, even for myself, that I need to get more involved in knowing who it is that I'm voting for, who it is that actually has a voice and has an influence in the political process. But at the same time, I'm looking at we as a people and knowing that, yes, We're out here rallying, we're fighting, we're bucking and we're jecking, we're shooting at police officers, and I know that's just a small minority, but it's happening. And yet this is a group of people that may not be able to articulate why there's an injustice.
But that's the point that I was talking. That was
There's
the
a
point I
reason
was.
now to throw a riot. There's a reason to act a fool.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
That was the point I was
That's
trying
a
to
good
talk to. I'm not saying, to your point earlier when you said, gosh, I totally blanked on it, but about electing officials, that's not what I meant. I meant that when Don said that these are certain type of people that may not be able to articulate why they're there, sometimes that doesn't bother me because at least they're there. I know that's a very I don't want to minimalize the fact that they're out there and they're working it, and they to me expends way more than black people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
let's get that out there because I'm over the fact that we're doing
the person that's out there. I've marched with them.
Right.
I'm on the streets. I'm talking to them. I'm engaged with them. I feel their passion.
Right. And
So
I understand.
I'm not just some behind the camera on Twitter and online.
No.
I'm in the game.
Right.
But where we're failing is the ones that are supposed to protect the people on the street, the elected officials. We don't know their name. We don't have a bill in place. We don't have something to get these judges and these cops who kill people. And then there's nothing for the people to feel like, well, at least we went to court and his pension was stifled or something happened.
But
because it gives them a free range to just do free range on the community. That is not right.
Totally agree, but the problem is there's so much look at the DA situation in Ferguson where he basically threw away the case.
Right.
The Department of Justice saw that. The emails are ridiculous. They've been victimized to a point. I firmly believe you saw in Egypt, Syria. You can only push people too far.
Exactly.
And once you push them to a certain point, they don't care what the consequences
I
are.
agree.
It's not about consequences
Let
in
me add on what
Ferguson.
you said. Now we're agreeing on this.
I agree on that.
I will say this too, that I talk to people and they'll tell me, well, why would they do this? Don't they know that they're killing their own community? I said, you don't get it. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Exactly.
They have lost everything.
100% agree.
So
Yeah.
if anything, you're going to hear my rage. And my rage is going to penetrate to the point that you will pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And that's why those people act out that way.
Yeah.
And they're not bad people. They're people
I
that
ask
are
this
hurting in this
question?
country and not being served properly.
Yeah.
Can I ask this question? Is that really what they think, that my rage is going to get you to pay attention?
They don't
or is
know,
my
Don.
rage just a default reaction because I think it gets, it intimidates? And I'm asking that question because I think that so oftentimes this kind of pattern that we see with young African American men and the police or the authorities seems to be a resistance. And while I know there's a great argument and position that can be made, there's a reason to question, there's a reason to not trust. Right. I also am concerned about the personal responsibility to know how we actually show up in the world. So I'm wondering whether or not this is a default reaction to just incite to riot,
There's a reason
as
for
opposed to being a well-intended
I hear what you're saying, but
strategic
there's also an
response.
issue of reason of respect. These men want to be respected and they want to be heard and they want to feel like someone is connected to them. When you have police officers who don't live in the districts, okay, and you don't understand the culture of the people, there should be a bill in place. When you have police officers who should be required to wear a camera in 2015 and put a camera on, there's cameras and buttons. I talk about this with Urban Game Changer. There's where we're failing. We're not accepting where we have come and where we are, and we're not holding them accountable because we don't know who to vote for, and we're not putting in bills to protect the people. You're not living in this district. You don't understand the people. Give me a break.
I'm with you on that 100%. They should totally live in it. And that's how it used to be. And that's when you trusted your police officers. Second, police stations didn't used to be profit centers, which is what local city governments, all of them. Garcetti's just as bad, by the way. That you wanted a guy I met, and he was a nice guy when I met him as a journalist, as a journalism student, and he promised he was going to fix the metro and do all this stuff. He's privatized it more, and they're taking away more routes. He's totally a sellout. He's just as big a sellout as all of them. So that's what I'm talking about. When I don't trust them, I'm like, okay, we got the same thing.
But see, we don't expose them either. If you're not going to expose these people that don't do right, then there you go.
But what do you mean? You mean journalists are not exposing them? You mean they're not exposing? What do you mean by that? Because it's like
you said journalists. He did.
The thing is, you only expose.
I write for the Washington Times for 4 years. So
no, I know. I'm saying when I met him.
You expose what you know, and if you're telling me that, I mean, this information, some of it I'm learning for the first time, some of it we've talked about before. So, and I see myself as a pretty educated person. So, if you're telling somebody who may or may not be educated, whatever the case is, and they don't know this information, how are they supposed to expose them? You know what I mean? There are so many. I mean, they are hidden behind so many things. That's why all these legal situation.
Some of it's not, though.
Shirley, let me ask you this.
And see,
since you've been out
Stacey,
there.
that's the point I'm making, and I am so with everything that Shirley is saying, and I'm even agreeing with Michael, surprisingly. But
y'all agree way more than you
Shirley,
think.
let
about
me ask you
personal responsibility.
Give me a
Yes,
second
I
on this one,
believe
Don.
these men and
can't hear me.
women want respect,
Oh,
but I
I'm
also
hearing you.
know that if you take them out of that situation and you look at some of the other trends and epidemics, such as domestic violence and abuse and rage and everything else, we've got a problem here.
Absolutely.
We've got a problem that isn't
Absolutely.
always fueled by the political dynamics that are taking place or the civil unrest that's taking place. It's just an outlet.
Yeah.
Yes,
To me, my
definitely.
concern is that we've got people that are already pent up, and this gives them a reason to act a fool. And I'm concerned about that.
Yeah, I think we're all concerned
gotta-
about that. So what is the answer?
I gotta-
Roman,
I
what
gotta-
was I
I
saying?
wish we need to have a town hall meeting.
Don, I'm gonna have to
We're
cut
not
you off right
inciting-
there, man, because we gotta get the SAE. But I also need to ask her. I want to ask you a two-part question
Yes.
because I don't want to run too short on time. I need to know because you're out there so much, and you like you said, you have PACs in 5 states. So with all of that action, let's remove the people who are politically active in the movement. When you just meet, Joe Voter, do these people care, first off, about the political system or making a change? Do they actually understand the power of going to vote? And then after that, please tell us, because I'm pretty sure it's going to spill right into it, why you developed Urban Game Changers and what's the vision for that organization.
Scriptures say people perish for lack of knowledge. And I think people seek the right knowledge. I think there's a lot of information out there, but it's not relatable. So how do we find information that pertains our community and our issues? And I think people are hungry for that. I don't think people are becoming more Republican. I don't think they're becoming more Democrat. That's why you see a lot of independents and libertarians on the rise. So in saying that, I say knowledge is power and that people are seeking it. Urban Game Changers was created to hold elected officials accountable and ourselves. We don't do that. We don't know who we're voting for. We may know of the bills, but we don't know who these people are who write these bills. And then if we're going to march, we need to create bills. There needs to be accountability on judges that get voted in, on police officers, on police chiefs. And we don't need to act violently what Dr. King did. Dr. King had a political movement behind the scene, and he was on the street. We're not working politically behind the scenes. We're just vocally tweeting and raging and taping videos. We have to do more. Urban Game Changers can be found at urbangamechangers.com, Urban Game Changer, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. My name is Shirley Husar, Husar. I'm out there speaking. We're having an event March the 28th in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we're talking about poverty. And let me say this to you. Most people think of poverty, they think of small business loans. They talk about nonprofits. We're talking about LLCs. We're talking about acquisition and mergers in our community. We're talking about startup companies in our communities. We're talking about different ways to generate revenue. And that's not always accessible of that knowledge or format to our people. Instead, people keep thinking the government's going to subsidize for them. But if you're 2 and 3 and 5 generations a recipient of that, you need to want to get away from it. March the 28th in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, we're partnering up with some teens to help that next generation have a different mindset. Take those shackles off of your mind and off your feet and open your life with Urban Game Changers.
That's good
There
stuff.
you go. All right.
That's good stuff.
Well, let's. Is it possible for us to get the Silpha Alpha Epsilon video without losing Don, guys?
Not really.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Just wanted to double check.
I think everyone's seen it.
Everyone's seen it anyway.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Nickel,
just
nickel,
Google
nickel, nickel.
SAE OU?
Nickel.
Silpha Alpha Sigma
Quarter.
Alpha Epsilon frat started in 1856 on the campus of my alma mater, University of Alabama, roadside.
Finally wasn't Texas. Finally wasn't Texas.
Or Florida. Guys,
Florida.
not
High
Florida.
five for us.
Florida.
Seriously.
Or Atlanta.
Although Texas could be migrating
But
into Oklahoma.
one of the guys
so
that was suspended
I could still
is
say-
from Dallas, Texas. So.
Of course he is.
So still got a Texas
Yeah.
connect.
That son from Texas.
But
Oldest. Hi, John.
I did reach out to SAE, to a representative. They're one of their regional directors, but never got a response.
They're suing right now.
Yeah,
so-
they are suing.
Yeah, I know.
They're suing because they were bigoted.
I just wanted to get someone outside of their statement that they don't condone and yada yada. We've heard it all before. I just wanted to get one of them to be able to speak on this show.
It would be nice to hear their viewpoint. The interesting part on that matter, though, I've heard a lot of people say, well, we say the word, why can't I say it? And we see it in songs, we see it in videos. Why isn't it okay to say it? It's what they said afterwards.
Yes.
It's the content that made the whole thing line up together. The whole hanging on the tree.
Yeah, that's the part that got me.
That's the part that makes you go, oh my. And plus it's Oklahoma, so it's Southern.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got the Union in here, and then the house mom, she has her own specialized video on Vine, if you haven't seen that one.
Now I'm going to touch on that. Bhutan Gilbo.
Don't lose it.
I'm going to.
That's her name, but before we get to that,
78 years old. What year was she born?
Oh, yeah. See.
So she's born in 1930s. Okay.
Well, I think her and Jesus
Nickel. She was able to say it freely. She was happy to say it again.
1943.
Yeah, something like that.
I want to keep those two in.
73?
78.
Yeah, she's 78.
She's terrible math.
Yeah.
I want to keep them. I want to put them in separate categories, and then we're going to bring them back together because you can separate those two, but they're also still intertwined with each other. So let's talk about the students first. Just plain and simple, I just throw it out there. Was the expulsion justified?
Yeah. You actually sign contracts, whether you know it or not, when you go to a college that you are going to have certain. It's why some colleges, like if you get a charged with sexual assault, as you should, you get kicked out of the college. That happens all the time. This is no different than those those simple rules that you agree into a contract with. They had a contract when they went to that school. They represented. They were on a sponsored event. It's hard to. There's not a single angle I could even be like they're young and dumb. Well, they are young and dumb. And it looks like it does come from on top because this grandma is the worst.
Yeah, the house mom.
And I can only imagine this fraternity has generations of this going on. This sounded like a chant that's a normal thing.
Oh, yeah, it became a chant. Yeah, the chant was normal. It was like,
that was not a spur of the moment, this is funny.
No.
Okay, 2 seconds here because I haven't spoke a lot and I really...
Sorry, Stacey.
No, it's okay. I'm learning a lot and I'm loving it.
But I know you got
I wish Don was here because I feel like him and I could really, really go at it today. You know? And in a good way. Yeah, exactly. I feel like you feel me. Sure, it was justified. Would it matter if social media wasn't in play? Definitely not. So I think for me, a lot of the things that we've dealt with since I've met you guys and been able to work with you guys and just talk and change ideas, it's been so great. But in that year that we have been on this show, just imagine the situations that we've talked about, the colleges, the cops, just imagine. So a lot of what we've talked about, I've always said that if social media wasn't around, this wouldn't be as big of a deal as it was.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the first times I'm like, oh wait, no, this is the situation that it really wouldn't matter. If no one recorded that video, why would we be talking about it? Like for one, obviously, and then they would not be expelled. Best believe somebody on that bus was bigger than those students, was a coach, was or whatever.
They had leaders on that bus.
Yeah, they had the leaders on adults, full-grown adults.
That were supervising. Their role was
you know what I mean? Like, if you chant for 8 seconds and someone hasn't stopped you, it's down and good.
So I'm going to take you back to Selma, 1968.
Why do you have to take me there?
I'm going to take you there because we're talking about technology. You said technology, I'm going to answer your question. Okay, cool. No one cared about what happened in the South because we didn't know.
Right.
Because the Northerners didn't know.
Right.
But as soon as the cameras and the reporters, they were constantly trying to stop them from filming.
Don't film.
That was technology.
Right.
That was technology at its best at that time.
Right.
The exposure of that technology brought the forefront of how abused the black Southerners were being treated and being cared for. And then you had white Northerners come to help the blacks in the South.
Right.
So technology has always been the pivot to change us.
That is a beautiful statement, yes.
So now we're in 2015.
Right.
It's the same thing, my sister.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, that's irritating.
Excuse me. It's good, though.
Yeah.
It may be irritating. It's probably irritating for the whites in the South. They want all those reporters and all those strange Northerners knowing all their business.
Right.
But guess what? They got exposed. And guess what? They got exposed. You can't talk about hanging somebody on a tree and think you feel free to get away with it.
I just feel like it's so, why do you still hate us? Like, don't you like my hair, my dress? I look good? Like, I don't get it.
Because
why do you still hate black people?
Just you learn it.
It's so old.
You ever see those pictures of racists? Like, that classic picture from the 70s of the little Klan. He's like a toddler dressed as a Klan, and he's like walking up to the black police. They don't know. You have to learn that shit.
That's right.
Don, let's get your take on this.
You know, I'm listening to it, and I am troubled by thinking about who was within earshot of it, who didn't say anything,
Right.
who didn't file a claim, who didn't take this to the college who did not respond to it before the media blitz, before the technology came. And I think that's a horrific revelation for me. And it actually throws me back to the Eric Garner situation when I realized how many people watched that man be choked to death on that street and felt disempowered to do something. So I don't know if we've gotten to a place where, and I'll take a leap here, we've gotten to a place where entertainment has become so sensationalized that we are desensitized toward the disrespect in
I will
life.
say
We are
that
definitely
we have
there.
become desensitized, but I will say that we are exposing. We are in exposing times where things are being
Really?
exposed, but there needs to be accountability. There needs to be legislation on the table now regarding what happens. There needs to be cameras in the police officers' cars. They need to be on
But
the
Shirley,
back.
who's
the front,
winning
on the
though?
side.
What's
Because
funny
we've
is-
got cameras, we've got video footage,
Here.
we've got protests and
Yeah,
marches,
sometimes even when
we've
we
got
haven't.
evidence, but I don't know that. I know we're making progress on some level, but are we winning?
We're not winning
We're
yet.
making steps.
Yeah, exactly. I
They're
don't
making
think
steps because think of all the tapes that weren't taped. Think of all the people like a Jamil Shaw
Exactly.
who was killed in California by illegal
Yeah.
immigrant. Okay, that wasn't taped. We know the whole story. You haven't checked out Jamil Shaw family. They're still trying to fight to get a bill through so that if you're an illegal immigrant and you're in a gangbanger, you have to be deported. That's just the way it should be. But we feel like we're so sensitive to hurt other people's feelings. Look, we have to put laws in place. My friend here said that he supports bills. We need to create bills. We need to have those bills put in place so that the police that are turning against us are turning for us.
I agree.
Well,
I can't argue. But the problem, real quick, but the problem comes when it comes time to fund these bills. No one wants to fund them, and that's my
talked
other
about last
gripe
year.
is the fact that we have they want to fund. We need taxes sometimes, guys, and we need to raise the money for these bills as well.
They fund what they want to fund. 2 years ago, they funded transgender bathrooms because they said it was
Yeah, in
important.
colleges,
Okay,
Yeah.
No, in elementary schools as well. So they want to have transgender bathrooms.
that's
Eventually, that's
interesting.
going to be moving forward, and that was in
that's a whole.
2012.
You just
That's
gave us a new
very
show.
But that was
I remember
that was
for
passed.
colleges.
Now,
Yeah.
if you're transgender, you're like, yay, right on. But if you're a mom with a little kid, maybe you don't feel comfortable
As
with
comfortable
that.
with
But
that,
guess
yeah.
what? Where did that money come from?
Yeah.
So that money
But
always
you know,
comes
but-
up
but
with the
let's-
earmarks and
let's
the bills
look at
with
that
the
because I
politicians
think
who
that
put it in their
you're
pocket,
exposing
with
something that
Democrats in
takes place in the
California.
African American
minutes,
community
Don,
that
2
we
minutes.
need to pay attention to. We are so fragmented and disenfranchised amongst ourselves. When you take something like the transgender or the LGBT, they're unified with a purpose and a cause. And it's something about that dynamic of moving in oneness, that kind of gives a power and a fortitude to move
for the
forward. But we tend
LBGT.
to oftentimes not necessarily move together because the truth is
I
we're a little
disagree
bit
with
prejudiced
you.
against
I
our own
disagree
kind
with
in
you.
some
I'm
cases.
gonna-
Let me finish my
I'm
thought.
gonna
I
let
disagree
Shirley,
with you.
answer that,
There's a
and
new
then we
law
gotta
that
wrap.
just passed in Utah. Well, the LBGT and the conservatives came together and got it passed. You guys need to look at that. That just passed yesterday or today.
In
So
Utah?
In Utah.
Utah?
In
What happened?
Utah.
I gotta look
The-
at that.
What happened?
the-
How did I
the
miss a
lesbian
Utah
transgender
story?
community
My
worked with the
laptop out.
conservatives. So I would not say that they cannot work with us. All I'm
Yeah.
saying is if they can get what they get, we should get what we need to have
Yeah,
as
definitely.
African American people. So there's a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
we're
money
not-
that's
argue
I
there.
don't
as
think that-
people.
I think that there's
As
a
a
challenge
people,
there
we
for
do
us
everybody.
to work
Yeah,
together.
And I'm so happy that
One
bill got
minute,
passed because we
purpose
work together.
and
That's
not
the key
be as
thing.
fragmented as we are.
Thumbs up on that.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely very, very fragmented. We go in 8,000 different directions now. We have because we're so diverse. That's
the
the
thing.
beauty of
We
us.
always say that it's a bad thing, but then I mean, it's a bad thing sometimes. Like right now, when
Yeah.
Don's saying that, which I get, but there's another day. It's like I'm not like every black person. Every black person can't be like me. That doesn't make sense.
That's true.
So I don't. The days that it's fragmented, it's a big deal because we're not together. But it's like that's a reality.
Yeah.
That doesn't always have to be a negative thing. I'm not just sitting there hating on the girl who's lighter. That's not what it is. It's like, oh, girl, like you're this and I'm this, and that's okay to me. I don't know.
Throw back to that episode
You know what?
that we did. with
This has
Lightning.
been a great show. Hopefully, you guys will have me back on.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
love to
definitely,
be back on.
definitely.
Follow me, Urban Game Changers, Shirley Husar, Husar. I will be tweeting after the show, and you can follow me.
That's what I'm
I'm on
talking
Facebook,
about.
Twitter, Instagram, Vine, and LinkedIn.
Yes,
come join
Vine.
our movement. I'm also the CEO of story.com. I have 2 apps in productions, so when you have a chance to go to story.com, that is our family app, and we are developing it out, and we'll be launching it out in about 2 to 3 months. So watch for that as well.
I didn't even have to throw it to Shirley. Shirley just took it. I like that.
She knew.
Done.
Thank you for having me on. I hope to come back.
Keep it going, Don. Keep it rotating.
Keep it rotating?
Yeah, she already gave
hers.
hers. Feed yours, man. What's your Twitter?
Oh, my Twitter, Don's Daily Dose, and I always got an opinion about something because I just want us to live better lives, so check me out.
I love it.
Stacy, go ahead.
Hey, you guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. You know I'll be there, and I can't wait to hear what you got to say about this show.
Mr. Mike Teemant.
At MichaelTeemant.com, at Michael Teemant or Michael J. Teemant. Anybody else find it ironic that had they listened to Donald Sterling on Not Put It on Instagram, they never would have got caught?
Absolutely.
And they only listen to the racist.
Or not ironic at all. But
And
you're right.
I am
You're right.
Ron
Technology
Moore.
exposes.
You can
It
always
exposes.
reach out and talk to me at Rome the Ruler on Twitter. Rome the Ruler also on IG now. You can find me in San Francisco, well, Santa Clara, actually March 29th. I'll be covering a lot of events for the WWE at WrestleMania. And you can find me at the Zen Lounge probably next Thursday night doing some stand-up
Nice
comedy
Zen
like I
Lounge.
always
Ooh,
do.
I love that place.
Yeah, I know. I
Nice place.
got a nice connect that got me in there, so I'll be making some people laugh there. So,
Nice.
but once again, for Don, Mike, Shirley, Stacy, and myself, Urban Game Changer. This has been another episode of Black Tea Party on Black Hollywood Live. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Size.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
Wrap it up.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.